Hi, I'm David, and I'm here to talk to you about cryptocurrency price analysis for Thursday, February 28th, 2019. Today we'll be talking about 5 coins that are confirmed or rumored to be supported on Samsung's new S10 smartphone crypto wallet. Those coins are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Enjin, Basic Attention Token, and Icon. We'll talk about how the news is affecting the prices or not affecting the prices in some cases, and we'll see where those coins might be going in the next few days. So, without further ado, don't forget that like and subscribe below, and let's get right to it. Here we have Bitcoin on the daily. I don't really know of any news moving Bitcoin right now, even though Bitcoin and Ethereum are tied to the Samsung news. They don't seem to be moving because of it. It affected the small cap coins a lot more. So Bitcoin's just doing what Bitcoin's doing. So looking here, I've spoken in previous videos about this descending channel that Bitcoin's been in since before the beginning of the year even. And now we seem to be forming an ascending channel, contrary to it. And some of the recent price action seems to be specifically to do with these two channels kind of colliding, and the price isn't sure which one it wants to follow, it seems. So let's zoom in a little on the 4 hour, get a better look at what's happening here. So we were following upwards with this ascending channel, looking like we were breaking out of the descending channel. We got above the top of the channel and we tested the top of the new channel up here, but we weren't able to hold it. We dropped back down to the bottom of the new channel and then began retesting the top of the old channel, the descending channel. And now what's happening is we've created a wedge between the bottom of the new channel and the top of the old. And the prices in the next day or so going to need to decide what it's going to do. It's either going to break up or down. You can see earlier, just a matter of hours ago, it attempted to break out downwards, but it was unsuccessful. We stayed in the channel. Now that's pretty optimistic as a bull sign. We weren't able to break below the new channel, giving some credit to the idea that this bottom edge of the new channel might be giving us some real support. The one thing that does give me a little bit of a concern as a bear sign, if we go to the 1 hour, is that the 100 and 200 1 hour moving averages are somewhat aligning with the top of the old channel, and or just above it really. And so it might provide additional resistance, but I'm not too worried. I think the bullish signs of holding above the new channel are a little bit stronger. So if we break up, I'm gonna go back to the 4 hour, just a little bit easier to see, but if we break upwards out of this channel and continue on the path of this new ascending channel, then we're looking to test up to, well, first we'll hit 4,000. There's always gonna be some psychological resistance there. If we push through that, we'll retest the top of this channel probably, and probably around 4,200. It also aligns nicely with some previous resistance we've seen there. My chart's jumping around, but there's also been some previous, it's just like a psychological level too. So if we break up 4,200, if we break down, we do have these moving averages below, which might provide some support, and there's just a lot of traditional support around 3,600. So if we break down, we're looking to first test 3,600 is what I would say would be the next level on the downside. All right, on to Ethereum. Here we have Ethereum on the 4 hour, because I think it's the most telling time frame. As for news, now the Samsung thing might not be affecting Ethereum, but we can't ignore the fact that tomorrow, or in the next 24 hours or so, the Ethereum Constantinople hard fork will hopefully finally be occurring. Now, we've had some close calls with this before. I've explained in a previous video how in the short term the hard fork could hurt the price, but in the long term should help the price. But this is a big event and it could go a variety of ways. Technical analysis plausibly could break down a bit tomorrow. Almost anything's possible depending on the success and general reception of the fork. That being said, let's look at what technicals we can right now. So like Bitcoin, we see that Ethereum's been in an ascending channel for a little while now. Unlike Bitcoin, it broke away from its old channel pretty effectively. It doesn't seem to be interfering. If anything, what's affecting the rising channel of Ethereum is historical price levels. If anything, they're these like kind of sideways price action levels. That's pretty much what happened, is that after the recent dip, we broke down out of our ascending channel. And since then, it seems like Ethereum's been more content to bounce between about 140 and 130, moving more sideways. You can see the recent drop that we were talking about, same with Bitcoin, but it wasn't successful. So pretty much what we're looking at here is, again, anything can happen tomorrow, but if Ethereum does break up, it's going to have to first test the top of this channel at 140. If it breaks up from there, we'll probably test the bottom of the ascending channel as upward resistance, and that'll probably happen around, my guess would be about 145 or so. We could go higher, especially if the fork goes well, but I wouldn't immediately count on it, and we have to get above this channel level first, so let's focus on that. And then if we do break downward, at the very least, we're going to test this previous resistance level here at about 130. It's also a psychological level. Looks like some more resistance kicks in at about 124. So if we go down, looking at 130, possibly 124, wouldn't worry about lower than that until we hit those levels. All right, looking at Enjin now on the daily. And Enjin moved quite a bit on the Samsung news. At one point up 118%. Now it fell back a bit, but this is a little bit different than some of the ones we've been talking about. This isn't about channels so much at all. This is a coin that for a lot of the last couple of years has been following roughly the same, kind of turn as the market, a slowly declining bear market. So you can see very specifically where the news came in, and we shot up way outside of any traditional patterns we were forming. And what seems to have happened with the coin is that we actually now are responding more to somewhat notably older resistance levels. It seems the coin got above these old kind of first half of 2018 resistance levels, and ran out of steam, and then now is kind of in a channel between those previous levels that were resistance or were support or now resistance. And the bottom end of its current channel is these levels which were resistance and are now support. It seems to have found it's only been a couple of days. It's found some comfort in there, and it isn't entirely clear what it's going to do. It seems to be testing the top end of that again, testing where, again, previous support was. If we can get back above that, then we're probably going to test up to where it stopped out. So right now we're testing at about 9 cents. If we can get through that, we can push up to about 11 cents, looks like the upper end. Beyond that, it becomes a little bit unclear with technicals. There's a lot of different levels there. We'll see if we can even test up to 11 cents again. If we get rejected, we're falling back to, at the very least, this about 6.8 cent level here, which was, again, the previous resistance. If we drop down through that, we could go as low as kind of the levels pre-news, around a little above 4 cents, maybe 4.5 cents. So we'll see if it can stay above that. All right, basic attention token on the daily. Here's another coin that has clearly responded to the Samsung news coming out. However, not as dramatically as Enjin did. Here we see, again, a pretty well-defined ascending channel that this coin was following before the news. It had just tested off the bottom of that channel. And when the news came in, it rocketed outside of it, but pretty promptly fell back into it. Now, this is another one that seems to be also taking a lot of cues from previous levels. It basically was stopped out a little above these previous resistance levels at around 18.6 cents. When it fell back into the channel, and at this point it might get a little easier to go to the 4-hour, fell back, got rejected off at about 18.6. Fell back into the channel. It found some support on some mid-channel resistance levels or support levels at about 14.6. So it held there, and now it looks like we're retesting the top of the ascending channel here, currently at about 16.7. If we can push through here, we will probably almost certainly test back up to 18.6 or so. And if we get rejected, we're probably dropping to, we might still find support on this mid-channel support here at about 14.6, or we might drop to the bottom of the channel, probably coming in at around 13.7. Okay, and last up, looking at Icon. Here we are on the 4-hour, obviously, also responding to the same Samsung news. But what happened here, we can see again, very clearly defined ascending channel, common theme. We actually were just testing outside of that channel, it seems, when the news came in, which helped us rocket back up and test the top of it. But it seems the top of that channel was aligned with some psychological and previous resistance at about 30 cents. You can see that there. Caused us to kind of get rejected off. We've been kind of hovering in the middle here ever since. It looks like it's converging along some admittedly weak support/resistance that's happened around 27.8 cents. It's not going to be able to stay there very long. It's going to test up or down to the outsides of this channel here. If it goes up, we're going to have to again push through that 30 cents level. And if we can push to the top of the channel, we're probably testing it around 31, maybe just north of 31 cents. If we drop down, we'll obviously test down to the bottom of the channel. I want to show you on the hourly why I'm pretty optimistic we won't fall outside of this ascending channel for now, at least. We've got both almost perfectly the 200 hour moving average aligning with that edge of that channel, and just below that the 100 hour moving average, both of which have proven to be pretty supportive in the past. So if we test down, we'll probably test at lowest to the edge of that channel for now. Probably looking at, what is that, a little over 20, probably between 26 and 26.5 cents is about as low as I'd expect it to go. Well, that'll about do it for me again. As I always say, this is not investment advice. This is just my own opinion. Go do your own research, make your own decisions. Until next time, don't forget that like and subscribe. Good luck with your trades.